All right, the tolerant left, though, they strike again. We showed you video yesterday of the chaos and violence committed by Antifa at the University of California, Davis campus, where Turning Point USA was holding an event. The Sacramento Bee newspaper posted an article by their assistant editor that said TPUSA founder Charlie Kirk called for the lynchings of trans people, and they demanded the university cancel the event. And I'm sure that fake news about Charlie Kirk led to some of the violence. And I just have to say, I know Charlie, known Charlie for a long time, watched Charlie. I don't even have to know that there's no possible way Charlie ever uttered any words even close to that. Here's the moment when windows were broken out and police appeared to retreat yesterday. Watch this.
It's like it's such a
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa. Hey, can somebody call somebody?
You know, interesting that was Antifa, because, you know, that looks just so familiar to me, producer Jason. Like, I don't know what the left loves to call the insurrection. Those are the exact same
insurrection to me, but I don't know.
exact same tactics that I believe Antifa used that day while calling themselves Trump supporters, lying all the way. Let's bring in TPUSA contributor and Frontlines reporter Savanah Hernandez. Savanah, welcome so much for being with us. Where do these Antifa thugs come from? I remember back in my Tea Party days, I remember I would go give speeches all over the country, and they would stand outside of the speech dressed in, like, what were they dressed in, Jason? Like those, like, black high priest outfits in Eastern European countries. That's the only way I know to describe it. But, like, they had, like, big hats and black. Remember that? Like the Grim Reaper. They were dressed like the Grim Reaper, producer Jason. And that's what they used to do then. But a lot has changed since then, because now we're seeing this level of violence. But my question is there anything organic about this, or is this all organized, all paid, all out-of-towners?
I believe that there were a couple of college students that were in the mob, but again, that's about a couple of them who were there to push back against Charlie's alleged call for violence against trans people, which again was a lie that was echoed by many members of the transgender community, by the Sacramento Bee. So it really was, once again, the media that was drumming up this false outrage. And then you have Antifa, which, like you just said, is a very organized domestic terrorist group, if we're being quite honest. Now, Dr. Gina, you're actually the first person that I'm talking to about this, but I was on the ground outside with these people. I infiltrated the group, and I got a lot of the footage from on the ground of them fighting with police officers, overtaking all of the people in line, and just straight up terrorizing them. And I ended up having to leave because this group figured out who I was and began hunting me down. So understand where we are as a country, right? This is a very organized group of people that have lawyers with them. You can't really see it anymore, but they actually wrote in Sharpie a number on my hand and said, hey, this is the National Lawyers Guild. If you do get arrested, because again, keep in mind, these people are committing crimes on UC Davis campus, call this number and they will bail you out. So very organized group. Wow. They have people who are willing to bail them out of jail because they are there to organize, to shut people down, to silence them, to intimidate and terrorize them. And again, I ended up having to go to police at the end of the night and say, hey, please help me. That giant mob over there is looking for me right now, and they want to attack me. I was actually with a friend who also infiltrated in the crowd, and they ended up surrounding him, and they forced him to open his phone, and they asked him, what are you filming? Luckily for him, he did delete quite a bit of the footage, once he had posted it. So that way, in case that did happen, which it did, they wouldn't find anything. But they ended up surrounding him and said, we saw you with that girl. Tell us where she is right now. He refused to do it. And he ended up having to take and sprint off before getting beat up. So that's another side of that story that I haven't talked about yet. So thank you for bringing me on, Dr. Gina. So Charlie's inside, you have these domestic terrorists breaking down the windows, and then you have TPUSA reporters like myself on the outside getting hunted down by them.